Come on, technology, do your stuff. Nice movie fan here to bring you a brand new interview with a Power Ranger fan. And today I brought my good friend DHR here.
What's
So
good, y'all? How
it's
y'all
been a
doing?
while since we've done a video together in one way or another. Sorry about that. A little delay there.
Yeah, long time.
Let's see. Yeah. Well, okay. Now, I know some of the questions I'm probably going to ask. I know you've covered a lot on your channel because, you're up to date on
Oh yeah.
everything that's been going on about what's going on with Power Rangers right now. So, but,
hmm
little abbreviation, not a bad thing. So, just heads up there. But, okay, I'll start with the basic one. Which season of Power Rangers did you start with?
With the OGs, because
Mm,
the funny story is for me growing up, the OGs were the seasons that I started off watching in the mid 90s. Because I was
mm,
born in 91 and the show didn't even come out until 93 when I was two at the time. And I wasn't
gotcha.
even aware of the season until like what 95 or 96 when I got my first Sega Genesis. There was the first MEPR game that was based
Nice.
on the first season. I didn't get the Super Nintendo or the movie game on Sega Genesis. But
Mm,
a little funny story is that when I used to live around Brandywine Street,
mm.
and I remember going down the basement and I've seen this one clip of the Megazord fighting against the Megazord,
Oh, yeah.
the Dragon Zord fighting the Megazord, and I didn't realize that it was based on the Greenwood Evil miniseries.
Mm,
And it really got me curious as to what is this show? Why are there like two robots fighting one another? I mean, as a kid, I didn't really know anything. I didn't understand it. I didn't understand the concept until like the late 90s. But the 2000s is where I really fell in love with Mighty Morphin, even though I had the other toys from Lightspeed Rescue, Lost Galaxy, Time
oh,
Force,
sweet.
Wild Force, Ninja Storm. But it was Mighty Morphin that was like this nostalgia trip for me.
Mm,
I mean, I used to always been a kid, always drawing Power Rangers, and I still do to this day because they were my first heroes that I grew up with. I didn't really mind
mm.
Spider-Man, X-Men, Mortal Kombat, whatever, but Power Rangers was definitely the franchise that I know the most because as a kid, you watch a show that really meant the world to you. And Power
Mm-hmm.
Rangers was definitely one of those franchises that a kid can watch up until he gets older and he looks back throughout his childhood and realizes that, man, that show was not only nostalgic, but it wasn't perfect, but it was nostalgia. And
Amen to
so,
that.
and so for me, when 2005 rolled around, when Common, my favorite rapper Common, he came out with a rap album called B. One of my favorite songs from him was "Go" and "Love Is,"
Mm,
and it really made me think about Mighty Morphin season one because that season is iconic, even though it's not perfect, but it's
yeah.
remembered by fans who grew up with the original show. Um, then I remember one time when I went to South Carolina for a family reunion, and I went to this thrift store and I've seen the first two VHSs of Day of the Dumpster and Half
Mm,
Five, the original five box art. I'm
right.
like, man, just seeing those two again. Like I remember the Yellow Ranger, I remember Trini, but I don't remember seeing Jason because Jason looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger, like the Terminator a little bit, the way his drawings look. But
Yeah.
it looks so cool though. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, totally.
And yeah, like it really got me thinking, yo, if I could draw myself looking like that, I can imagine myself being a Power Ranger, even though I'm not a martial artist or nothing like that.
Yeah.
But the 2005 man, like when I was a teenager, those were the best years of my life. You know, as far
Mm-hmm.
as like seeing those VHS as box art. And so
Oh,
for
yeah.
me, Mighty Morphin will always be my favorite season, even though it's not perfect. The first
Oh, yeah.
season is way more successful because
It
it
is.
matches the Jew Angel footage. Then came out with the Jew 2, as the fans call it. I didn't really mind season two because it introduces Lord Zed before the soccer moms and all of the
Uh,
wokies complained about him being too scary
yeah.
for the children. And mind you, kids do watch a lot of scary movies and
Yeah.
TV shows. So how did that affect the kids? It didn't. It was just a soccer mom just complaining about this and that and the violence and the martial arts in the show. And
Yep.
honestly, the early season two stuff and the mid season two when the unmorphed martial arts fight scenes were still happening until the soccer moms and everybody ruined it, complaining about the violence. I
Hmm.
mean, the Power Rangers at some point really put out a PSA about not to do violence in school, not to
Yeah.
do drugs or anything. And I don't know if the parents even did that, took their child to martial arts schools or whatever, to teach them self defense, not to hurt anybody. The Power Rangers at some point did preached about that a
Yeah.
long time ago. And
Yeah.
for some odd reason, the Karens in the 90s still did not get the memo. I mean, you know what I'm saying? They're taking their kids to martial arts schools now, but back then they didn't want to do it. They
Nope.
just say, hey, you know what? Have the Rangers in their Ranger suits fighting the monsters, play safe and whatever, all the way up to season three. I was like, you
Yeah.
gotta be kidding me, bro. I remember that. In season
Yeah.
three, I didn't really mind in the beginning when they did a better ninja story arc.
Mm.
Way better than the movie, in my opinion. Even though the movie it was something, but it was nostalgia. But season three, I liked it for the most part in the beginning. But once the Alien Rangers came around, I was like, cut it off. Like, I don't understand how you gonna take a good concept from Conquer Ranger and you turn them into aliens. Like, I don't think aliens and ninjas don't mix well because
No.
I remember in the I think Morphin some on Twitter, I followed his account and he mentioned something about Saban. He originally was gonna turn Mighty Morphin Alien Rangers into Mighty Morphin Ninja Rangers because Ninja Rangers sounds good and makes sense because the
Sure.
show is based off a Ninja Sentai Kaga Ranger.
Yeah.
And they could have had they could have had them based on the Rangers' ancestors, you know, like their
Sure.
Zords. You know, the Falcon, Wolf, Frog, Ape, the Bear, and the Crane. They could
Yeah.
have had them in characters with the animatronics and stuff, have them as ninjas based on whenever and whatever, and have them develop a character development for the Ninja Rangers. And Billy could have
Sure.
morphed back into his Blue Ranger, whether it's going to be using the Ninja coins or the Dino coins. They could have easily done that, but nah. Saban and them had to turn them into aliens, which is a big turn off for me.
Mm.
And that's what made me stop watching Mighty Morphin. And you notice that the ratings for Mighty Morphin at the time were declining like crazy because of how bad the show has gotten stupid. Similar to Ninja Turtles in the early 80s when they were popping off with the
Yeah.
cartoons and the
Oh yeah.
early 90s. You know,
Hmm.
the cartoon shows were still going on, but the live action films were still popping. The first
Oh
two were, but the third one was not good. And I think that's what really killed the franchise in 93 with the third one, and
yeah.
96 when it came out with the Red Sky season with season 10.
Hmm.
And that was the end of the road for them. Same thing with Power Rangers, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
Um, but Zeo was definitely my favorite season, even though it was not perfect, just like my Morphin
Hmm.
with the filler episodes. But they made it seem so serious, you know, as far as like the music and everything. The Gold Ranger
Sure.
definitely saved the show, in my opinion,
That
because
was
I'm
great.
pretty straightforward. You. I love the costume. I love his Zord, and I love how he was like a mystery. Everybody was thinking that Billy was the Gold Ranger, which would have been cool if he was. Um, up until Jason came along, now it really felt like season one and two mixed with season three with the music and everything, featuring
Sure.
all the same John for the most part. But yeah, Zeo has so many good multi-parters. Some were good, some were just questionable.
Yeah.
The only thing I didn't like about it was the finale and the team up special because of the behind the scenes with David
Mm.
Yost. You already know that story.
Yeah.
Um,
That was too bad.
Turbo, yeah, Turbo on the other hand, turn off
Oh.
again, almost killed Power Rangers for me. Even though the second half was good with TJ and them, the
Mm.
movie was bad, you know, because
Oh yeah.
the
That
Zeo,
was-
like, I don't understand how you go to replace the Zeo powers that were more powerful, that were more stronger, with powers based on cars. Like, what do they have with Zeo? I don't get it though. But then you go bring in Jason and Kimberly only for them to drown just because they try to escape from something with Bulk and Skull.
Yeah,
That was a waste of time, waste of space. But
very
yeah,
bad.
the second half of Turbo was really good because of Chip Bland, how he saved the show with the writing and with the Phantom Ranger character having a crush on Cassie and everything.
Mhm.
And one of the best finales of Power Rangers in history with Turbo chasing the space.
Mm.
Yeah. Speaking of in space, go to season, Andros, Zane, and the Sakura Rangers, no questions asked.
That saved the franchise big time.
Uh-huh. And not only that, but I feel like with Lost Galaxy, even though I have some mixed bags with
Mhm.
that season, I feel like it should have been called Space Jungle. They could have
That would
been,
have made better
well, they could have
sense.
like, yeah, because they could have like stayed on Earth instead of going into the space colony. You know, Terra Venture. That was the,
Sure.
I don't know why we call that a Terra Venture though, but even though it's still on Earth to me with Earth elements, but they could have like borrowed some elements from Ginga Man. Ginga Man was an Earth team. Lost Galaxy
Oh
was
yeah.
not. So
No.
I like some stuff like that team up and the Man of Defender storyline was just it felt like a
Mm.
movie.
Yeah, that sure did.
Yeah. Um Lightspeed Rescue was good. The Titanium Ranger story arc, goaded once again. Shout out to Ryan's actor and everybody on Lightspeed Rescue. Time Force, another good one. Even though it was a way better than Samurai, because at least with Samurai, they didn't water down. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? Time
Yeah,
Force was its own thing, even though it copied the same pace from Time Ranger, but they added their own original elements to it. Made it
sure.
feel like daytime drama, which they were nominated back then, which they should have won because of
Mm.
the acting. And they was gonna have a movie too.
Oh, I
And
heard about that. Ugh.
if they would have came out with a movie, I think they could have started off the second season based on the movie and added a new original Ranger. You know what I'm
Sure.
saying? Even though
Yeah.
Boom Studios probably did that, and they did it though. But at the end of the day, Time Force is really good.
Mm.
Another favorite season I like from the Disney era was Ninja Storm, SPD, and Dino Thunder. Three
That.
of the best ones, in my opinion. Ninja Storm was the
Mm.
one that really changed the game for me because of the acting and the music in the beginning. It sounded more intense, and the acting and the drama. It felt like a typical Disney project. You know what I'm saying? With
Yeah.
the acting
Oh yeah.
and the drama and the deep characterization with the characters.
Sure.
The Thunder Rangers came in and just crashed out on the Rangers. Loved them. Cam, he definitely
Mm.
showed out. He crashed out once he became a Ranger. Um, the fight scene with Lothar, even though Lothar sucked at the character, but
Mhm.
he can fight. He's like the M. Bison of Ninja Storm. Let's be real
Yeah.
here.
Totally.
So yeah, Dino Thunder, loved that season as well. And in my opinion, everybody has to be saying it. Dr. O felt more like a lead. He felt more like a leader than a mentor than Connor. Connor, I felt like he felt like
Yeah.
Robin to me. You know, even though he stepped up later
Yeah.
on in the season, but to me, he still wasn't the Red Ranger type that I want to remember. But Dr. O and shout out to JDF Rex, his piece of him, he felt more like a leader than the mentor. I guess he's a leader
Yeah.
and a mentor at the same time because he's always
I
telling the
think
Rangers
so.
what to do, always upgrading them with the Zords and everything
Mhm.
that Connor could not do because one, he's a soccer player. So yeah,
Yeah.
SPD goaded because of the Shadow Ranger arc. Even
Mm.
though when the Rangers are in the Ranger form, the acting is a bit iffy, but at the same time, what I love about SPD, even though it's a police thing, they
Sure.
follow a protocol so well than they do in real life. Like if they adapt a new Sentai show and made an original Power Ranger show based on cots, I'm sure it's going to be heavy with political stuff in it. But if you're going to do
Mm.
it, at least do it to tell an educational story about cops and robbers, good guys versus bad guys, to
Yeah.
educate the kids on, you know, what not to do in life without breaking the
Right.
law. But in
Sure.
Power Rangers form, you're gonna have monsters of the day, monsters of the week. but with an important story of the Rangers teaching an important lesson about, life in general
Yeah,
while being police cops. If SPD came out with a reunion, I'm sure they're gonna do just that, and I believe
that'd be
so.
cool.
And RPM was definitely my favorite one because it was based on a populistic world. It
Yeah,
felt different. It felt like Mad Max and the Terminator combined, but with Power Rangers elements. And
sure.
I feel like that show was done so well with the five original Rangers. When Jim and Jimmy came along, I was like, okay, no, just no. I don't like how they keep talking. Always got to finish
Yeah,
each
that was
sentence.
stupid.
I don't like it at all.
That was a
And
mistake.
another season I like from the Neos of Bond, only one, Dino Charge season one. I didn't like
Cool.
the second season because of the ending, and I didn't like a lot of crazy elements, but I did like some episodes from the second season. But the rest of it was pretty bad to me. And Ninja Steel, I don't like. It was a throwaway season.
Mm,
Wow, I said that because it wasn't based on ninjas. Because
no,
if you're gonna have the show, listen, if you're gonna have the show based on ninjas, at least you could have done was made it a ninja thing, not just made a Power Rangers show just because it's called Power Rangers. Like you gotta
I,
have an actual thing to represent ninjas,
sure.
practicing ninjutsu, practicing ninja magic and everything. You didn't do none of that.
Nope.
And then the uniforms, like you got them doing practicing ninjutsu stuff in the uniforms without doing no actual fights. We barely see the Rangers do any unwanted fight scenes in Ninja Steel.
Nope.
Even though I like that special, Dimensions in Danger, the
Yeah.
extended version, is better with Tommy fighting against his evil clone. That lasted what 3 minutes. I like that.
Yeah.
But when it aired, they cut out that fight, all of with him to use the
Well, part of
mapping.
it anyway.
Yeah, but the rest of the show was pretty bad. I liked it both seasons of Dino Fury and Once No Ways was good and Cosmic
Oh
Fury.
yeah.
I think that was about the best season from 30 years of continuity, and that was about it. But
Mm.
all the other episodes, all the other seasons, I skipped. The bad ones are Mystic Force, Operation Overdrive, um, both seasons of Samurai, both seasons of Mega Force,
Mm.
the second season of Dino Charge, and two seasons of Ninja Steel, minus the team up special. So yeah, those are the seasons that I like the most. Oh, I can't forget about the 2017 movie.
Oh
Fuck it.
yeah. Well, I
Like
think
the
you just literally
yeah,
went through half of my questions here before I even asked them.
right. I had to get it out though, man, because I listen.
Yeah, it's
You
all
see
good.
my videos all the time. I've always break down some of the things I like or dislike. I've
Totally.
always had my opinion. I've always stated facts about what I want to see in the future.
Hey, it's all good,
But
man.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, in fact, let's see. Just for the heck of it, I'm going to tell everybody what we just went through inadvertently. Of course, we got
mm,
the what you start with. Yeah, how many seasons have you seen? All of them, obviously, just like
yeah,
me. Let's see. I know you've seen Super Sentai, so or at least
yeah.
part of it anyway. I don't know. Let's see. You said your favorites already and your worst ones. Uh, your favorite episodes, your worst episodes. Sorry, shows. Once and always. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And that was great. That really was great. And I'll have to come back to that in a minute. But let's see what else. Worst seasons. Yep. Greatest seasons. Oh, let's see. You talked a bit about the movies. A bit enough said there. And yeah, that's a good lot of it covered there. But we still got more questions. That's the good news. I'm
Bring it
sorry, I couldn't
on. I'm
help it.
ready.
It's all good, man. Okay, let's
Yeah.
see. Let me start with an obvious one here. Here we go. What's your favorite Megazord or Zord?
Dino Megazord, OG, the GOAT. I love the Dino Megazord. It's iconic. I don't care what nobody
Totally,
says.
totally. I agree.
Uh,
Totally.
I like the Thunder Megazord because it was one of the strongest Zords out of the Zords that I like the most because it's a samurai theme because of Dire Ranger. but how they introduced them in season 2, that was iconic and it was epic.
Yeah, totally.
The White Tiger Zord, the Mega Tiger Zord, another Zord that I love, iconic.
Yeah.
The Red Thunder Zord in battle mode, that was my favorite.
Love that one.
I also love the Shogun Zord. That was my favorite one because of how big it was, of how strong it was. I love the unique design it has. You know, I love the introduction. I definitely love the Zeo Zord, the Zeo Mega Zord, not the Super one.
Okay.
I like the Turbo Mega Zord, and I love the Rescue Mega Zord. I love that.
Nice.
The Astro Mega Zord, I love that.
Oh yeah.
I wasn't really a fan of the Mega Voyager because it felt like you ever go to like a corner store around your neighborhood and you want to get you like a sucker.
Oh yeah.
That's how I look at the Mega Voyager because of the multicolors. I didn't like that. Even though it is for some odd reason everyone's favorite Megazord, but it wasn't to me though. I like the Astro Megazord better because it's a ship that turns into a Megazord.
Yeah.
I definitely love the Lost Galaxy Megazord. The Matter Defender Zord, I like that as well.
Yeah.
I like the Super Train Megazord. That's my favorite.
I love that one. That was always one of my favorites.
It's so big and intimidating. I'm not sure how I feel about the Time Force Megazords, but I do like Mo Red better because that's the Megazord that I remember out of Time Force. The Wild Force Megazord I like. The Pegasus Megazord from Merrick's. Well, then the Naku Zord. I like that Zord too.
That's good.
The Storm Megazord from Ninja Storm. I love that. The Thunder Zords, their Zord I love the most. And Cam Zord I like because it's its own thing.
Yeah.
Thunder Zord's Megazord from Down of Thunder I like. The White Ranger Zord. Oh my gosh. Crash Out Megazord. I call that a Crash Out Megazord. SPD, I like that. I like the Megazord. I like how the database turns into a giant Megazord. I love that. Because it's big and powerful, intimidating. It's like you can't really defeat it though. So that's the most powerful Zord that I've liked. The Titan Megazord from Mr. Force, I like that. I like how everybody has their own Zords and then it turns into a dragon and it turns into a Megazord. I like their Megazords a lot. Operation Overdrive, skip it. I don't like these Zords because it's too confusing in my opinion. I don't even know what it's supposed to be called. Jungle Prime Megazord, I like that because it has its acrobatic style.
Sure.
It's a martial arts Megazord. It can kick, it can do its flips. I like that Zord. I like I didn't really feel the Rhino Megazord. Even though it had its own Zord, I just wasn't feeling it.
I hear you.
Yeah, but the Jungle Master Zord, I like that. Very powerful. The RPM Zord, I like that.
Oh yeah.
But I wasn't feeling their Ultra Zord. Didn't like that at all. Now, there are some good Megazords that I like from the Neo Saban era. The Samurai Megazord is a good one.
Yeah.
But I did not like the Gigazord. Too much.
Oh
Too
yeah.
much.
No.
Yeah. Megaforce. Mix.
Yeah.
But I feel like
agree.
the Super Megaforce Megazord. I like that. I like the Pyro Megazord. And Orion Zord, I love that Zord the most. Because it's based off the Dragon Zord.
Sure.
But it also had a Megazord mode. I definitely love that. Dino Charge Megazord, iconic. Love it. Started off with 3, then combining with the rest of the Megazords. I don't know what other Zords they got in season 2, but I did remember the Titanic Zord. I don't know if it's based off of Titanic, but you could turn it into an Ultra Zord, which is a lot bigger.
I wonder if that was. Then we might know what actually happened to Titanus because he just
Yeah,
disappeared off the radar.
yeah. I said he only used like what in season 3. Then he
Yep.
was used a lot more in season 1. Thanks to Jew Ranger and Jew 2.
Yeah.
Um, Ninja Steel, I hate it.
Mm,
Trash.
sure.
Um, Beast X Megazord, it's okay.
Yeah.
And then they have the other Zords. But Devin Zord, I love his Zord the most because it's a cheetah. Then it has his own Megazord mode. I like
Mm,
his Zord a lot.
nice.
Um, Dino Fury, I love their Zord. Zeddo has a Megazord mode. T-Rex Champion Zord, I love that.
Hmm.
Fire Zord, Fire Season, Fire Ranger. But they also have other Megazords. Like all of their Zords and Dino Fury was so good. I just love them all completely. So there's no complaints about it.
No, not really.
Cosmic Fury, it was even though no what? Here's the thing. Cosmic Fury for the most part, um, the Zords were based off the Q Ranger.
Mm,
So I like it when they combined and they would fall in the moon. So that
sure.
was probably one of my favorite moments from that show, even though it was based off the Q Ranger. But they made it look so
Yeah,
HD, but it worked though. So I like their Zords too. So
okay.
there you go.
That's cool. All right. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. Who's the best mentor in your opinion, and who's the worst?
In my opinion, though, Dr. O is the GOAT. Him and Miss Fairweather, I
Sure.
love her. Um, Sensei from Ninja Storm, the
Hmm.
guinea pig.
Oh yeah, he
Uh,
was great.
yeah, Shada Kruger, the GOAT. I love him. Like Commander Kruger, that's my dog. Um,
Oh yeah,
RJ, that's my go-to. I love him.
sure.
Dr. K, she's amazing. I love her.
Mm.
Uh, Commander Shaw, I like her. She cool with me. Uh, Solon, I definitely love her.
Mm.
So Solon's my favorite mentor from Down in Charge all the way up to Cosmic Fury. My least favorite mentor is Zonon because number one, even though he is the most iconic mentors, but in later seasons, later on in the show, he does sometimes misinform the Rangers of what's going on,
Mm.
and he sometimes forced the Rangers into battle, knowing that they sometimes are not ready or mentally prepared to go in certain situations.
Sure.
So Zonon definitely has some flaws, but
Yeah.
at the same time, he's just iconic.
Yeah.
But in the
Yes.
comics, they made him way, way better than the show. No questions asked.
Yeah. I have read a few of those comics, and I won't deny they did a real great job with it. I usually
Definitely.
don't think the comics are canon to the series because to me they're meant to be a
But
separate entity altogether. Oh, you
yeah.
said they're not?
Well, I think the reason why I said they're not is because they have their own thing. They create
Yeah.
their own stories, even though they're
Yeah.
based off of season 2 and 3. But it's their own elements, their own flavor.
Yeah. Exactly. And that's one thing that everybody always seems to overlook, especially you got a bunch of guys like I think the Sixth Ranger does this all the time. He literally interloops the comics in with the series, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me, man. They're not
Mhm.
the same thing. Uh-uh.
Yep,
They're
that's how
really
most
not.
people believe that the comics are canon to the show, which is they're not.
No, they're
Like,
not.
look at Power Rangers Time Force and In Space. They had their own separate storylines, and especially the Psycho Rangers when
Yeah.
they were like baby faces, but I don't know if they're baby faces or heels in the comics though. But
Mm.
let's just
A
say
bit
for
of
the
both,
most
I
part, they
think.
had their own issues in the comics than they did in the show.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, in the show, they were just designed to destroy the Rangers and technically Dark Spectre at the same time. Whereas for this one, they gave more depth into him in the comics.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And it bugs me that people keep saying, oh, the comics are so canon. No, they're not. I might consider the Zordon ones an exception because we know so little about him to begin with. But even then, that's sketchy at best.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Because his story's an open book. That's what makes me say it. But everything else, it's like, okay, it's a cool idea, but I'm sorry, I can't say they're canon. I just can't. And that especially includes Soul of the Dragon because of Tommy and Kat being married. And I am sorry. They, I'll say it first anyway, just because I think, I don't know what you're going to say, DHR, but just in case, I'll say it anyway. They don't belong together. They just don't. Tommy and Kim, they have a connection and all kinds of things. And I think I'm getting off my soapbox right now on that one. I've said that too many times. But that brings me to the next question for you. Tommy and Kim or Tommy and Kat? That's the question.
In the beginning, Tommy and Kim were the go-to couple of Power Rangers. They were like the Bonnie and Clyde, Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Sure.
But to me, when Kimberly wrote that Dear John letter to Tommy and Zeo when she broke up with him to see some other guy in Florida, that kind of broke Tommy's heart because him and Kim been through so much for the last 3 seasons of Power Rangers.
Yeah.
But when Kat fell in love, when Kat and Tommy got together, there's a part of me that felt like it was kind of rushed in Zeo, but they could have at least done a better job of developing these characters, see if they really have feelings for each other though. But they came close to that in Zeo when Tommy was afraid to ask Kat out on a date. And all of a sudden he just started developing these feelings for Kat, even though she a baddie though.
Yeah.
And honestly, I've always liked that Kat, in Zeo. But in Mighty Morphin, even though she came in late, she did her little thing, whatever though. But in Zeo, she definitely shined. She crashed out a little bit. She has some good focus episodes. But in Turbo, I had mixed feelings on her though, even though she played like a mentor, a teacher when they graduated high school. Yeah. So it was pretty much no longer teenagers with attitude. It was adults with attitude. Mm-hmm. And yet they still feel like teenagers to me because all of the actors were in their 20s still playing, Power Rangers though. But at the end of the day though, bro, I feel like I'm in between. Like I'm stuck in the middle between Kat and Tommy and Kim and Tommy.
That's cool.
So I'm going to go with both. Based on the strong connections I've seen throughout the show, not in the movie. So
I got you. And that makes sense. I mean, with all honesty, I'll admit though, had this thing been written up a lot differently, I might, and I'm really saying might for a reason, be a little more open to the idea of Kat and Tommy hooking up. But the problem is, as we all know, because, Amy left the show and obviously they felt like, okay, we got to get Tommy hooked up with somebody. That's pretty much what happened here. So that's what really throws it off. And, my bro Antony had an interesting theory. I don't know of what they could have done. And who knows, maybe you might find this interesting. His idea was that had this been written differently, he would have liked to have had Kat hook up with Jason when he entered the scene.
Oh, I like that theory.
Yeah, because why did it have to be Tommy? Why not someone else? Yeah.
I mean, just imagine like Kat and Jason getting together though. But even though Jason had his own love story, but we never got to see her again in Turbo. But throughout the years though, everybody was speculating that Jason and Kimberly did had a thing for one another, which I don't believe for one thing. Because I don't see Jason and Kimberly in a relationship. It was always Tommy and Kim, not Kim and Jason.
Yeah.
Even though they're trying to make it seem like in Turbo, during the end credit, when Jason and Kimberly hug each other when the Rangers were in the power chamber, Tommy looked at Jason and Kimberly like, what the hell going on? Like, why y'all hugging?
Yeah.
Like, are y'all dating? If it's something you need to tell me, like, what's up? Like, are y'all banging behind my back or something? Like, if I were the writer, so I would have probably had Tommy crash out like, yo, what's up?
Yeah, exactly. Even though this was after that Dear John letter, big mistake, by the way, that doing that. I mean, really.
I hate it though. Even Lynn Carr pointed out during his review in history of Power Rangers. I didn't really like that part either though, because it had Kimberly could have like stayed in a few episodes in season 3. I
Sure.
think she would have been the Pink Ranger still, become the Pink Zeo Ranger.
Yeah.
Then she would have had some crazy development throughout Zeo.
Sure.
So
I
yeah.
agree. Yeah, and I forget somebody did a review. I forget who it was. My bro and Tony knows this, but this girl actually, she said that Kimberly, this goes completely against her character. She would not have just written him a Dear John letter if she, was gonna
Yeah.
break up with him, and that's the truth. And I can't picture that. I mean, we all know the real reason why they did it this way, because again, Amy was gone, so that's why. But still, no, bad.
I think they could have at least had them talk to a phone, through a
Yeah,
payphone, and see, how they're doing and everything. Since Kimberly went to Florida for the Pan Global Games,
yeah,
instead of they
exactly.
having like doing a Dear John letter, I hate it. Like I
No,
hated when they did
totally.
that.
It was ridiculous. It was terrible and heartbreaking at the same time. It was all the above.
Yeah.
Bad all around, man. And yeah, and it's because of all that, especially how they literally forced that on us. That's why I won't accept that. I mean, for people who accept it, okay, fine, more power to you, I guess. And I know you're in the middle on that one, so that's cool
Mhm.
again. But you know, like I said before, had this been written differently, I could have been a little more open to the idea. But no, not after how they did it like this and how they tried to force it on us, especially with that crappy Christmas special. Oh my god.
I mean,
Oh my.
that is kind of funny in Zeo. When Cat was like talk to the hand, I thought she was gonna cuss him out, call him a beat and everything. Because I
Yeah.
was expecting her to be all ratchet and everything, since she's the only black actress on Power Rangers. I'm like, man, Tanya's my girl. I love Tanya to death though. But
Yeah.
if they have her do that in Zeo, I would have been bust out laughing so hard. I would have been in tears.
Yeah.
But I love how Adam was throwing shades in his hometown in Korea,
Mm.
even though I think his actor Johnny Abosh is Korean, but I think it's kind of a funny
Yeah.
little nod, and he was making fun of him though. That was
Yeah.
funny, but the
Yeah.
episode itself sucked.
Oh
So yeah,
yeah.
those are the good parts I liked about it.
Yeah. And believe it or not, that was a total ripoff of Thomas the Tank Engine. I'm not kidding.
I never heard of it.
Well, it was a kids show from back in the late 80s, early 90s. One of these days I might bring that up in a future video. But yeah.
Yeah,
But one of these days I'll bring it up. Oh yes, now I got it going for you. This one I think you'll definitely be interested in. The next question. Now that Paramount has the rights to do Power Rangers, and of course, you talked about how things are going. What are your hopes for the future of this series and
it
possible movies?
was it was Paramount, but until I heard that it was going to be on Disney Plus,
Oh, so they
because
changed it. I'm sorry.
yeah, but it's
Damn.
all good though. But I'm still excited for the future because we know Disney Plus has some good shows.
Sure.
As far as like Spider-Man, the animated series, X-Men, X-Men
Mhm.
97, that's the show that you need to watch. Definitely recommend it.
Yeah.
They got WandaVision, they got Loki.
Sure.
Um, I heard some good things about the show,
Hmm.
but I found out that Hasbro are going to be producing the reboot. The writers, Perry Jackson and the Olympians, are going to be
Hmm.
responsible for the Power Rangers reboot. If they get the contract, I hope they get it somehow.
Hmm.
Because I believe that they're gonna make Power Rangers good again. Because Power Rangers is known for being a little boys kids brand throughout 30
Sure.
plus years,
Sure.
and a lot of that could change if you bring those two in. You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Oh yeah.
I made tons of videos of how I feel about it,
Yeah.
because I was excited, but then I found out that it was not going to be based on Mighty Morphin, because I was bummed that I don't know what, because I would have loved them to actually reboot Mighty Morphin, because in the original show the characters were just there. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? We don't know nothing about the Rangers other than the one time we've seen their parents and the Return of an Old Friend episode when Tommy came back. Um,
Mhm.
that was the only time I've seen the parents, Mitch Master, their colors and everything.
Sure.
Um, But
Except for Tommy's parents, we never saw his.
that's the thing that killed me the most. I'm like, bro, where's his parents at? Because we never seen Tommy's parents throughout Power Rangers though.
Yeah.
But Kaiju Sentai did a review of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers season 1, and he mentioned something about Tommy's parents were killed in a car accident, so he had to live with his uncle.
Mm.
That could have made a lot of sense if they was to write that, on Power Rangers. But with some outreaders, they just made him into a new kid that got kidnapped outrider, was turned to the evil Green Ranger that was put under a spell until Jason beat the brakes out of him to get rid of the spell, and that was about it. I'm
Yeah.
like, no. Like, if you reboot Mighty Morphin, you could have done a better job of introducing the Rangers characters, have them morph right away instead of waiting for the third act,
Yeah.
to do something.
Ugh.
Then it would have been the best Power Rangers reboot on Disney Plus has to offer. But
Yeah.
since it's not going to be based on Mighty Morphin, I would say have it have it be inspired by Mighty Morphin, but with the same color scheme. You know what I'm saying? I made
Sure.
videos like multiple times about it of what I think needs to happen. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
And I keep getting one comment that keeps saying that, yo, like it would have been cool if they actually made a Power Rangers reboot a non-thing. No.
Mm.
Why would you want to make a reboot with a non-theme Power Rangers team? Because we need a theme of what the Rangers represent. Whether it's going to be ninjas, animals, dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Because without them, it's going to be Bioman.
Exactly.
I said that in my last video because I don't want a Bioman as a reboot because you don't want to alienate the audience to be confused as to what powers they're representing.
Exactly.
Like in Mighty Morphin, it was all dinosaurs. We know that the Rangers were based on dinosaurs. And you do that with the reboot, but have it not based on Mighty Morphin with a new mentor, a new sidekick,
Sure.
new characters, new Zords, whether it's going to be about what's going to be animal based or dinosaur based. And honestly, I would rather for them to have it based on dinosaurs again, because the red can stay Tyranno, pink can stay pterodactyl, the blue can stay triceratops,
Yeah.
and the black and yellow. I think the Black Ranger could be another dinosaur, but the thing is, Mastodon and saber-tooth tigers are not really dinosaurs.
No,
So
not really.
So basically, if they were to change something with the Black Ranger, I would like to think that either it's going to be a Stegosaurus or
That'd be cool.
whatever kind of dinosaur that is available for the Black Ranger.
Hmm.
But
Let's see.
the saber-tooth tiger, though, but for the Yellow Ranger, I think it could be based on the. Damn, I don't know what the dinosaurs for the Black and Yellow Rangers though, but the only thing I know from them are the Mastodon and the saber-tooth tiger though, even though they're not really dinosaurs. But I think for the Yellow Ranger, it could either be a Velociraptor
Ooh.
or an Angulo.
That's an
or
idea.
Ankylosaurus.
Sure.
So with Zach, I think he could be a Stegosaurus.
I think that would work.
Because it is kind of big. It's just like the Mastodon.
Sure.
So that would have probably worked for the Mighty Morphin reboot on Disney Plus. And I mentioned this for the fight scenes. I want them to just mix it up, like blows to the head and stuff the body all the time, because that's kind of boring.
Yeah.
And you notice that throughout the past 30 years of continuity of watching Power Rangers shows and movies, once Norway's changed all of that.
They did.
When you know that the fight scenes with the blood, like kicking the face and everything, that's what I wanted, to see the most. You know what I'm saying? So I think when they do that with the Disney Plus series, with the writers and producers of Perry Jackson and the Olympians, bro, Power Rangers will be back to its glory days like it was with the Disney era.
Totally.
Imagine that. If they get the contract to do the Power Rangers reboot, I'd be sold.
I like that idea completely. I just hope they don't get political on us. That's the thing I'm worried about the most. Because with Disney, So But we'll see what happens. I mean, who knows? But they might surprise us. Maybe they've learned their lesson after that recent disaster that will not be named. So who knows? Maybe they finally got the hint. But who knows?
Yeah.
Anyway, let's see. And that pretty much covers it, actually. So that's awesome. But anyway, it's been great having you here, DHR.
I appreciate you for having me on, man. Like, it's an honor.
Oh, totally. Thanks, man. Oh, and you know what?
Right, 'cause we're gonna do this more often.
Oh, yeah, we should. And you know what? I got a real special video coming up that I know you definitely should check out, called talking about Power Rangers Power Playback. You ever heard of it?
Yeah, I'm watching the video now. When you did an interview with Anthony,
Yeah.
showing clips of past episodes from maybe Morphin to Turbo.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've
Cool.
seen that.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm going to get a little more in depth, and I'm saying a little more for a reason because there's really not much to tell, unfortunately. But yeah, there will be more clips of that whole, the promos. And I won't be focusing on the Tommy and Kim one, which I had to show Tony that one because he's a
Oh,
huge.
that's what it was. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, it was that was that one, but there was a little mixture in there. They tried to show more than just one or the other, but yeah. But there's more, and it'll be a little more in depth. But unfortunately, there's not much information because, well, it was just meant to keep the show going while Turbo was still around. Enough said there. So, but
Yeah,
it'll be coming up in a few weeks if I remember correctly. And either way, I'll send you a link on the Twitter just in case. So,
yeah.
But yeah,
I can't wait to check it out, bro. Like, do what you do with your magic.
Thanks very much. And who knows? Maybe sooner or later I'll have some more Power Rangers cosplay. I don't know how you've been keeping up on that. So, but
Trust me, I've seen it on Instagram.
oh,
And
yeah.
don't even get me started on Instagram because Instagram is not like what it used to be. It's full of
no, it isn't.
OnlyFans models and
Ugh.
304 content. You don't want to get on Instagram.
Well, I'm glad I don't have Instagram. So
do searches and stuff. All I keep seeing is feet pictures and all that. Like, who's into that? Basically, like I want to see some cosplay, some comic art, some Power Rangers, and some art videos and some photos. But all I keep seeing is just people finding it out, promoting their OnlyFans, and
that's messed up.
I'm just not into it though.
Yeah, boy.
That's why Twitter is better.
Yeah, at least to a point, anyway.
Yeah.
Gotta watch out for those. Watch out for that fandom, as you put it. And oh my god, that's a mess. And political garbage, political talk.
Yeah.
I mean, political talk. Yeah, watch out for that.
I already know.
Yeah, but anyway, once again, thanks for coming on, DHR. Glad to have you, and we should do this more often. Yeah. Who knows? Maybe you can be with us when we finally talk about why we blame Saban for everything. So,
crash out.
Yeah. And I will, sooner or later, I will definitely announce when I'm going to do this, folks. So, and I know all y'all will want to be a part of this. So,
oh, yeah. I'm ready.
Until then, yeah, rock on. And I'll keep everybody in loop on that one. I just haven't picked a date yet. So, I'll let you all know. But once again, thanks for coming on, DHR. And definitely got to do this more often. And, well, everybody, this is Movie Fan signing off.
All right.
So.